hiding here?
Fine, but watch over our new recruit.
You do know I'm immortal, right?
Lucky shot.
Team, stand tall and finish this. Quickly.
Let's show them the meaning of fear.
They're ready for us, eh?
Yes.
And they're holding something powerful.
We secure this facility, we finally stand a chance at finding some real answers.
All right, lucky socks, don't fail me now! These texts are ancient. How long have they been? Library clear.
Careful. They think they're clever.
They're good. We're better.
The monster is here.
Boom. Monster. Coming to you.
I had expected more.
You reckon that's the end of them?
The beginning of the end.
All right. Who's ready for overtime?
Team China. Team International.
And here we go, our first look at Abyss, but now, we just got through the cinematic. Paper Den, your reaction, because I think I'm still processing.
I mean, it looks awesome. It looks like a secret underground layer, you know, they're kind of working their way, trying to get to whatever is hidden underneath. So I was really, really enthralled with all of that because it just has this great kind of cool feel to it.
Yeah, I think for me, that final shot and just kind of seeing it, you know, surrounded by the rocks, this little facility just placed down there as they fight their way through, looks super awesome. But how do you guys feel now that it's out there in the public? They've seen at least the cinematic so far, and they're about to get their eyes on the in-game map. How do you guys feel? Your first reaction, Al?
Yeah, so like I'm super excited to share a lot of info on this map. Again, seeing that cinematic always gives me chills. Again, this is going to be the first Valorant map that has no boundaries. So you saw in the cinematic, you saw like an enemy agent fall off of the map. That is going to be like the new gameplay hook that will be part of this. And it's super exciting. It's very heavy on lore. It's a very beautiful environment that Sabrina and the team built. So yeah, I can't wait to see them play it.
My reaction, finally, after all months of hard work, so excited for the players to check out all of Abyss. I mean, you talked about this being within this treacherous chasm. Omen discovered the Scions of Hourglass, so this is their headquarters, is where this is all taking place. And they're holding back all of these Radiant secrets and relics on the inside. So hopefully our players will take a look at that.
And where did that influence of, you know, these jagged rocks and everything, where did that really kind of come from? Well, actually, maybe I'll hold that thought, because here is our agent select, and we've got geckos on either side. We've got plenty of mobility. Raze there, Neon, Chet, Omen, I mean, across the board. Sova, I guess the one that has a little bit less than anybody else, but is there anything that jumps out to you here?
Now, this is what I love to see. Actually, seeing mobility agents now, I think it's going to really show off a lot of the creativity and a lot of the stuff that we were trying to give to players. We want players to think about different ways on how to traverse a map using utility.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's... Oh, sorry, go ahead. No.
I was going to say Omen, Mixwell on Omen. Very interesting. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's a very good player, so there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff going on. Are there maybe some unique things that we might be able to look out for with some of these agents that are coming into play with this map? So maybe unique interactions with the map itself.
I guess we'll see real soon. There's these skill jumps in the map, not to spoil too much, but some of them are more agent friendly. Others are only you're able to do with certain abilities. So.
Okay.
Yeah, keep an eye out too when like the attackers are in A main and B main, which is like right entering the site. We're gonna see some like really cool stuff that's kind of intentional on the design side, which we'll talk about more as the match goes on. All
right, well, excited to get into this one. Hopefully we're gonna be kicking this one off soon so we can get in and actually get a look at this map. And here we are. And my God, it does look gorgeous. You've done a fantastic job here in your teams.
Thank you. Me and our entire team.
All right, well, let's see how they fare.
We're here on B site.
Yeah, taking a look at the minimap. I mean, it's going to be a full B push here, it would seem, from the attacker. Slide forward.
Loving the aggression already.
All right, well, Dizzy over the top. So some blinds, but, I mean, as the defenders here, still don't have a spike plan.
Oh, you missed it. Little Wingman did the little jump across that skill jump you were talking about.
Oh, he did?
Planting the bomb backside.
The Wingman can jump over the gaps.
Yes, that is correct.
Well, that is incredible.
It is absolutely adorable.
Now just 2 players left. How do you think this map fares so far? Does it seem fairly balanced in your playtest as far as like attacking and defending side?
Very good question. From what we've seen, it is ever so slightly defender-sided. Although in general, when we do launch a map, our maps always start out a little defender-sided. And as people learn how to attack, it kind of evens out over time.
Yeah. So we saw some interesting things there with like the way that they're playing the post plant. Like they're waiting behind where the skill jumps are. That makes it pretty difficult for the defenders to try to get rid of where they're hanging out. They're like the attackers are.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, I was going to say too, like B side, like we actually give 2 towers on both sides, so players on attacker and defender can actually watch 2 nests. That's a really critical part of the map to make sure that you can actually either execute or defend it correctly.
Nice.
Another B hit. Look at this.
Spotted them.
So one thing about this map, a lot of long range fights. We'll see a lot more of them in mid, but B is pretty open. And like Al said, we have the 2 nests, Heaven, and then in B main, there's another nest, and it allows people to kind of fight over smoke. So that was one of the gameplay intentions from our designer, Joey Simas. He wanted to make sure that, you know, when the players see a smoke, they don't get stuck and stare at it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we've given our players multiple opportunities to execute sight.
Well, hopefully they'll go to the other side so we can get another, you know, look at a different part of this
so
map.
excited for A side.
Yeah, B's nice.
Yeah, we might have to have the, if they don't do it, we might have to have the admin step in and say, please just show us the
Yeah,
rest
I'm a
of the
little
map.
biased. I worked on B side, so I'm like, keep going there. I like it.
Oh, look at that tree. That's gorgeous.
Got a little Radiant tree here.
Yeah, this is a very lore-heavy map, so that's like part of that, like sort of like part of the Radiant secrets of the Science of Hourglass.
Yeah, we really had to investigate what does the Radiant effect look like on different natural elements. So you see the rocks in the distance that you mentioned, and then also this tree. Oh, a little play in mid here. And we're seeing a little bit of vents as well. So this leads you right into A heaven.
Okay, so breakable door, breakable vent to just be able to cut across and get yourself over to that A site from
Exactly. Yeah, so mid control is incredibly important on this map. Gives you a lot of leverage.
And you saw there that the Jet held their spacebar to drift towards that rope. Is that necessary on that jump, or can you just make that?
You can make it as long as you press F.
Okay, got it.
If you don't, it's GG. Wow, clean.
Very clean. 8 players left standing, and that's going to be Team China getting themselves on the board and showing us a lot more of the map than what we had seen in those previous 2 rounds.
Yeah, and as anticipated, we're seeing those very fast, quick plays, high risk, high reward.
Now, what if you have an oopsies and you have the, let's say you have the spike and you fall off the map?
Oh, so that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So like, it's actually not possible to lose a spike. We definitely want matches to finish, so if the spike does go over an edge, it will always immediately spawn where it fell off.
That's excellent. Nice.
Same goes for bodies, so rezzing. If a body falls off the map, you cannot res.
Got it.
And then guns as well. So if you're trying to play that eco round, make sure you're not shooting someone on the edge and losing that Vandal.
Yeah, I'd be yeeting the op off the edge so Achilleos can't have it.
and then I wouldn't be able to carry you in the games that
okay,
we play,
come on
so.
now. Yeah, well, you play Raze with an op and you don't use your satchels, so.
Another B-side hit.
And we're not getting
Ooh, the satchel.
Yeah, I think we're starting to see why that that mobility is so very important. But this is a great shutdown here from the side of Team China.
So fun
last one
fact,
standing.
this B main ramp that you saw, the smoke, it does not completely cover up the ramp, so there's still a gap. And that is part of not wanting the smokes to just block everyone off.
So yeah, so being able to play around it, being able to peek over top of it or to the side, so just giving you some more angles of approach rather than just keeping a team completely locked in place because of that smoke.
Yeah, that's something we really want to point out to you. Like, you guys are used to seeing maps like Ascend B-side. Like, as soon as a smoke usually hits a choke point, it's completely cut off. But it's intentional on this map for both A and B side. A single smoke cannot completely cover an entry point. Plus, we give you those skill jump opportunities so that there are more ways to actually enter site. But it is very high risk, high reward when it comes to actually doing those trick jump executes.
And we're seeing a part of the map here that I'm really curious about is mid. Like how long it is, how wide and open it is. What was some of the thought process into making it that way?
Yeah, so that's also really intentional too. So this is very lurk heavy for mid. It is intentionally designed.
You go all out or you go home.
Yeah, and it is designed for these aim duels.
It's like that.
Yeah, ones that right now Team China getting the better of.
Yeah, lurked out of B main up into this little corner.
Yeah, Joey was telling us it's really hard to sneak by here, so if you're going to go through mid, you probably want to stack. But controlling mid is super important because it does branch out multiple ways into those sites.
Oh, look at that.
Guns action.
Yeah, the break of the vent right into a kill. Catch people by surprise, just hiding behind that vent, just kind of waiting it out. So many flank angle opportunities there in mid as well. There's
absolutely.
So many paths to come in and out of it.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have, once this does get into pro player, once players get this on their hands, like
A-main.
how high priority that's going to be. But yeah, A-main hit, as you say.
Let's see if we can see a trick jump here.
Come on, Mixwell.
Storming their way through, but slow down.
So you see him on top of that box in A main, so this is a really good way to look over that smoke.
Oh, watch this.
And here he goes with the TP on the bridge into the smoke.
Okay.
This is exactly what we wanted to see.
Oh, the timing on the Dizzy, looking great.
Fantastic execute.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
And that is exactly what we want to see from this map.
That is so sick. That is so hard to pull. It looks like it's challenging to pull off at the very least. Like a little bit difficult.
Yeah, it's a
I
very
mean, you
challenging.
saw the team play. You can't do this solo. You have the defenders sitting on site. They're holding all of these random angles, these off angles as well. So you really want to throw them off with the abilities, the utility, and all the bodies.
So obviously we see that there with the Omen, but what other agents can really kind of make a similar maneuver to that? I mean, I assume Raze, blast packing, jet dashing.
Jet dashing.
Okay.
I guess you can send Euro TPs, but those are typically the agents that are able to do that. So fun fact, the jump that was just made, you're able to make from A site to A main So any agent can make that jump. It is just a strafe, like an air strafe,
Right.
but not the other way around.
Yeah, super challenging to do, but you can totally risk it and totally flank attackers coming in through A man.
So only defenders can make that jump without the use of abilities.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
So really cool pointing out here too, they planted right on that bridge. Super popular plant site. Something we didn't get to talk about too. We really intentionally didn't want the death drops to be super frustrating. So the majority of the map actually has ankle-high borders, so that you can't just like back into like an edge and then fall off by accident.
Okay.
There were a couple of choice spots where we don't have those ankle borders.
Very
That bridge being one of them. Again, high risk. Really worth planting the spike there if you can get away with it, and trying to defuse it is really risky.
Especially if you have a breach, right? And you have the
Absolutely.
ultimate.
A breach or like a race satchel.
Play test.
Yeah, the satchels too, yeah.
But I would assume, you know, maybe something like a Astra Star not going to be able to pull somebody off the side of the map, right?
That's a good question.
The ankle borders do stop you. If you're
Okay.
standing on top of it, which on B site, you can technically plant the bomb on that ankle border, forcing your opponents to play on that edge, and then you can use abilities to push them off. You don't even have to fight.
Okay. Well, I'm really curious about just the meta development once this gets into the hands of, you know,
Yeah.
professionals, because
Professionals,
the
yes.
way that this seems very exec heavy, you know, we've seen some very just dominance in execs here in this tournament, but also from other squads in the past. I'm curious to see how that's all going to look.
Oh, here we go. Respect for the play.
Mixwell, he pulled it off the opposite time. He sees it coming.
Actually, no, he tried doing that again. Pro tip for players trying this map: if you're Omen, the trick is to actually aim above where you want to TP and not try to get it exactly where you want to go. It makes doing that play a lot easier.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go. A word from the wise. Okay, we're seeing this neon on display now, sliding all over the place. I'm just curious what the balance is going to look like between high mobility, but also, you know, a collection of agents, a team that is going to be able to just go for really nice set executes. And I think that something like, I don't know, Neon Jet, Neon Yoru with a breach in play. All these things are coming to my mind right now, and it seems like the possibilities are damn near endless.
You know, for show match, they're having a lot of fun with the agents that they picked here. They're really showing off a lot of those mobility things that they were rehearsing and having fun with. But, you know, a lot of other agents are viable here, right? Especially like controllers. Like, you can actually stop a lot of these pushes with your Vipers, with your Harbors, with your Deadlocks. But, yeah, I'm really excited to see, like, what meta develops in this map, because this is, like, a new layer that we're adding to our core gameplay design.
Another agent that I found surprisingly, and personally, this is a personal anecdote, really strong on this map or very interesting is Sage. With her wall, you can block off some very peculiar angles. So like B-site, we're about to see that little jump up that you do. You could wall that off completely, and then they have to shoot through like multiple pieces of her wall just to get across to the site.
I was also going to ask about Sage. Are there any jumps that you can make using her wall?
Like, can you extend it out and basically use it as
but
a...
I know like her wall like breaks over certain ledges and things like that, but is there a way to like get past that?
Honestly, I don't want to spoil it though, honestly. I actually am really interested to see like what our players come up with. Like, you know, we test these maps for like thousands of hours, but I am really interested to see like how players are going to exploit sort of like this new kind of paradigm in our map.
I don't even know what's going on. I'm just so enthralled with the map. Like, I don't know who's winning.
It's been a bit back and forth. They're battling out. Now, of course, with the ability to just drop off the side of the map, because obviously we've seen, you know, pro players grab a gun, throw it off the ledge on ascent, throw it off the side of fracture, whatever. That's you know, a strategic move to deny weapons over to your opponents, make sure they're not going to be recoverable as you're rotating to the opposite side of the map. But one of the other things that we have in Valorant as a strategy is, you know, maybe losing the pistol round, having just classics. You lose 2 players and then you just sit back and you wait for the spike to detonate. Does it all play out exactly the same if you just go into one of the drops?
That's a good question. I think for ecos, we actually do see a lot of like mid fights. If you like 5 men hit it, typically you'll only have 1 defender there to keep it safe, and you get a lot of map control by doing that. So you're getting right into their spawns, into their areas that they're sitting in and catching them off guard. We're seeing a lot of snipers in general. So yeah.
So there's a lot of opportunities to take an eco and kind of turn it around on your opponent. There's a lot of angles and things like that to utilize.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
also.
I think team play is like really required for this because of all the long range fights.
Yeah, and I know it's really exciting. Like, this is the first map that's gonna have no boundaries. It has death drops, weapons gonna fall off. Sage can't res bodies that fall off the pit. But it's really important to make sure players know that like the core design of the map is still very traditional. It's 3 lanes. It's got 2 sites. It's got that mid. A lot of the fundamentals that players practice day in and day out still super important in this map. But again, we had that extra layer. Really excited to see how players are going to surprise us with some of their clutch plays.
Now we said that the spike, if it falls off the side of the map, that just comes right back up. I'm assuming that since we do have geckos in play, I haven't noticed if it's happened yet. If you were to accidentally send Dizzy off over the side of the map, is he just falling into the abyss?
No, he's gonna.
Gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's gone
okay.
forever.
So. Gecko players, got to be a little bit more careful with your lineups. Going to have to study quite a bit and make sure that you don't accidentally send something out in a panic, I suppose, because that is just you losing a major piece of utility.
And that's what we mean when we mention like we want our players to think a little harder about how they're using these abilities. We're adding this extra dimension of gameplay, this extra consideration they have to make with every execute, every play.
Uh-oh.
Here he goes!
Yes!
We did it!
We got it! We got the shot!
We got it!
Slicky in shambles! What a wingman driving!
And honestly, this plant backside is pretty strong when you play in B main, forcing your opponents to jump across the skill jump here.
Oh.
It's a very easy way to catch them off guard.
Wow.
Well, next one not getting caught by the Thrash, but does get a nice headshot there from Dun King, so let's see if they're going to be able to get this. 2v2 for the retake.
Oh, they got the wingman.
Yeah, he's on it. Oh, cleared off.
Oh.
Bold swing. Seems like International going to be getting themselves
See, like
7.
I mentioned,
Yeah.
this B main hold is extremely powerful.
All right.
Incredible. So we're talking a lot about like things that can happen when you drop off, but there's a lot of ways to avoid it. We saw the Omen TP earlier. What are some other mechanics that players could potentially kind of use by faking going off the map or, trying to... Somebody fell.
He forgot to jump. That happens.
Yeah. We've all been there. But what are some other mechanics like Phoenix, with maybe like the run it back or Yoru, obviously?
Yeah, we kind of sort of touched on that too. Like, Phoenix is actually one of the most viable reses on the map. He can do the run it back. Again, Yoru plays are also super popular in some of our internal playtests. You can totally fake out players with some of those teleport opportunities. And I want to emphasize too is it's not just about like the falling in a pit to die.
Skill jumps. Sorry to interrupt you, Al, but
sure.
we finally have someone playing in this powerful position, catching the rotates. This spot is a really good place to catch people off guard if you hit your shots, unfortunately.
Well, they were able to exit. They were able to jump out this time, so not falling into the abyss. But again, a spike plant. Curious to see how this goes, because I mean, last round of the half, they have to just try to play this out, but it's not looking good here for Team China. Looking like International going to be able to get themselves at 8-4.
Shadows traveling.
Yeah, Omen is such a great agent to play on this map. He's got so much great opportunity.
Yeah, it seems like he is very much not going, like very much just staying. He is not going anywhere, it would seem. But I'm curious to see how it's going to combine in with other controllers, as you were talking about. Since you know Viper in the mix, do people want to play Astra Brimstone?
Yeah.
You said one smoke that can't lock off an entry to the site, but 2 smokes can.
Yeah, and we're just talking about the agents that are available now. Like one really exciting thing, like we talked about, like we're getting even more collaborative, like people across the team, agents teams, our skins team. When you think about like maps like this, like what are the opportunities for agents in the future? I'm actually really excited about what can happen, in future lineups.
My anticipation, personally, I'm seeing the Viper and then a Dome Smoke, potentially. Just because that B main not being able to Dome Smoke it is pretty rough.
Very true. Oh, no. He's gone dead again.
We're forgetting to jump again.
Again, high risk, high reward.
High risk, high reward. Or...
I don't think there should have been that much risk in that one, to be honest.
That was by choice for sure. And like Al said, like we have all these ankle borders, everything's intentional. We don't want this to feel frustrating at all. This is just adding an extra dimension of gameplay because our players keep raising that bar.
Right. Yeah, I don't think that could be frustration at the map, just frustration at your not pressing the space bar. But
yeah, that's user error right there.
able to trade one back. Okay, we got him again.
Oh, I love the way that.
Yeah, so using the Dizzy to cross there is really smart because typically a defender will be holding you on that jump.
They're able to clear it out though, so now that this is starting to get away from them.
Last player standing.
It's all on Mixwell. I call it with util. But yeah, I'm loving the approaches that we're seeing. It's so neat to see because it's just so unlike anything that we've had in the game thus far. But like you said, it's still like it doesn't feel that different, but it is still very different.
Yeah, so the layout is very traditional. It really aligns with our core maps. It should be very straightforward to learn, very straightforward to play, except we're just adding this extra thing you have to think about.
Yeah, and I was going to say too, like seeing the reaction of like our players. I saw some stuff in socials today. Luke's going to be deceiving too. Like this beautiful map that's in this deep chasm, it kind of gives us this idea that it's a huge map. It is not overly big. You know, every new map takes time to learn, but we're really hoping that players will pick up the layout on this. And as you can see too, like action happens immediately. I mean, they're going past that barrier and executing on site, and we get straight to the action, which is intentional.
Now this is the eco round team play I'm talking about. I'm hoping to see if this works out for them.
Curious if this does fall apart. Do they just go to the side?
Excited for this one.
Spotted. I mean, they're just going to wide swing him, so he's got a back pedal. They haven't taken a sight yet.
The blind.
Okay, looks like they're holding it down.
Down mid.
Mixwell not going to be able to jump off the side.
Respectable attempt.
Yeah, not bad. Decent amount of damage dealt.
Got to be careful on that rope in mid. A lot of times in our playtest, you can actually like hang on that rope, and if people aren't paying attention and clearing corners, you can catch them off guard.
Yeah, I had my manager do that to me. He sat on the rope in mid, like in a 1v1, and I just walked past him and he shoots me on the rope. I couldn't even be mad. It was just so cool. And those are those clippable moments that we're talking about, you know?
Right. I have a question. Hopefully you can answer it for me. But you talk about the increased collaboration that you have between the different teams. Do you ever have somebody on the agent side come to you guys and be like, hey, can you put something like this into a map because we have an idea for an agent on this end, or is that fairly separated?
I will say opportunities to do that are growing. I mean, like we're always really careful, really intentional on how we introduce gameplay mechanics in maps. Agents team does the same thing. But I think it's going to grow more in the future as we do more things. I mean, we've had some real exciting agents come out with kind of new out there abilities, and kind of again talking about we've had 3 what we call core maps, which were really straightforward. The hooks weren't really heavy. This is kind of back to that experimentation of seeing if we can add that layer to really excite players. But yeah.
And
see the future.
We're trying to collaborate more, so we have a lot of Easter eggs on the maps, current stuff and future stuff. So keep your eyes peeled. I don't want to say any more than that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we won't press you to point out anything here. I'm sure that people, as soon as they get their hands on this, are gonna be scouring
it'll be quick.
every nook and cranny.
Yeah, wink, wink. They showed it in the cinematic, but we see a lot of shots of defenders holding the top of mid. We actually have for the first time a lot of our premium weapon skins in the map showcase. Part of that lore, part of that story, that is probably some of the funnest stuff that we got to collaborate on because it adds so much and kind of unifies that Valorant universe.
Yeah, so the idea is the Scions of Hourglass are keeping these artifacts away from the world. And then our agents, they broke in, so it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, so it is kind of like a secret underground base, or
it's
like a Bond villain or something.
Yeah, so mid is like a library. It's where they keep all of those secrets, and then B is more of this botanical radianite research facility. They're seeing the effects of radianite on different organic elements. And then A side is how would you phrase it?
A side is what we call radianite lockup, where particular things are kept there and hidden.
Oh. That sounded ominous.
It is.
Yes,
it is
very ominous.
I wonder if we'll find out more about that in a future event or something.
But
I
again,
played the 5th.
Yeah, and again, this is a really lore-heavy map. This was actually really fun. When we released Sunset last year, it was really heavily influenced by Los Angeles.
Wow.
This one, we got to do a lot of stuff on our own.
I don't think I've ever seen aggression like this into B main.
I mean, you mentioned, talking about Sunset, yeah, that influence is there. I'm curious about the influence for this map. Was there anywhere regionally that came to mind when you were designing this?
Yeah, actually, this was like a really big challenge, right? Like, we had to intentionally make a map that it was very clear, like, what is the gameplay and, like, where are the areas that you can't get to. And a lot of, like, the geographical sort of inspiration we got was from, like, a really remote island just north of Iceland. And it had a lot of the geographical features that we wanted to showcase in the map. And it also matches up with the lore. Like, this is supposed to be a secret base for this secret faction of the Sign of Ironclad.
Right.
So it is in a really remote location. But again, what was really excited is that this whole base, the architecture is new stuff. It is new lore. It is very narrative driven.
I'm actually kind of want to go on a different path a little bit here. Al, this is a kind of question for you. I'm super curious about, like, how do you guys think about the layout of the map?
Here it is.
Oh, are we going to? Oh, they're hiding. They're
okay.
hiding. Okay, hold on.
He's rope lurking with a Bucky.
The risk is with a Bucky is an interesting choice.
This is just laughing.
They're miles away.
Oh, they're just like walking into B-side.
He's going to have to just try to
I
retake
respect the
with it.
gamble. I respect the gamble.
Gotta try.
Like you said, risk and reward,
He's
but
sitting there.
not being rewarded for it. Good shut down on the ult.
Man. But okay, so when you think about you gotta build a new map. How do you start with, like, the layout? How do you think about, like, some of the things you're looking to put into the map in terms of, like, in this case we have, like, a really long mid, some of the vent, those kind of things. Like, how do those form in your head and how do they come to fruition?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. Actually, a lot of times folks will ask us, like, does, like, the narrative, the story of the episode, or, like, things we want to do in the Val universe really affect, like, the layout of the map? And actually, I'll be honest, the answer is no. It really starts with the gameplay, right? Like, it has to feel really good in that prototype phase where it's just gray blocks, right? We call it gray box. And, like, when we talk about opportunities, things we're deciding, honestly, it is just the evolution of, like, what our players are doing in the game today. What are opportunities, what's feedback we're getting from players, and also just, like, what are just fresh new ideas that, like, our design team, and the team, the broader team as a whole want to do, and then we just try to find the right combination of that, and again, test very heavily.
Sure.
I will share with this map, I mean, this map at one point had, like, even more extreme verticality. It had things like jump pads and crash pads, so you can go, like, very long distances.
Oh, okay.
And we even had, like, harder trick jumps. We had platforms that were like half a meter,
Tiny.
Yeah.
very tiny. But again, lots of play testing, lots of making sure that it still hits those key beats for, like, the design principles for map. And again, super excited to see how players react.
And to clarify, the crash pads would actually help you not take any fall damage. So we had, like, these jump pads, you could go super, super high, and then if you fell down, you'd take no damage at all. But in the end, we wanted this to align a bit more with our core maps instead, and then and then hopefully not be too punishing. Yes.
One of the things that I like that we have seen more times than I expected
Yes,
is,
way more.
is kind of just like, where you hit the, where you actually hit the depth when you're falling off the side of the map, what that limit is. So it seems like you have a decent amount of time to try to react. Like if you're playing Jet, something like that, you actually slip off the side of the map to be able to get that updraft off. It's not like you just are instantly sort of dead.
It's about 3 to 4 seconds, right? We don't want to make it, we don't want to belabor the point. Like, once you fall off, if you don't have any movement utility, you'll die within 3 to 4 seconds.
Right. Well.
1v1 here.
He used it.
They didn't take damage from their own shock dart at least, but
Mercy
now
of time.
it's 2 rounds away here for Team International.
This went by pretty quickly.
It's been, fairly back and forth, but it feels like this defender side, they're finding their groove a little bit more, but this
It's
nice
those early
wraparound.
fights, that early aggression, the risks that they're taking, makes for a very riveting map.
And then
Showing
disaster. Yeah, I can't wait to see that, the first week or the first couple days, especially of this map coming out, all the clips that are going to be compiled and posted online.
Oh, yeah.
Streamers losing their minds.
And if people are wondering if you can plan on the edge of B-side and you've got a breach on the post plan, you can totally have multiple agents go off the edge.
Everyone off the map.
It seems like maybe everyone will just firm handshakes and agree not to play breach on this. No, or just, if you know the Rolling Thunder's online, don't go to B. Maybe makes them a little bit more readable, but good fight back.
There we go. Let's go.
Yeah, well, you can see that round really shows how important that mid control is, right?
It
That
is.
Neon gets so far up there.
Looks like this is being watched for, though.
Tid.
Oop. Updraft peak.
Info.
Oh. Almost finding it.
Man.
Really solid. I'm curious, for Sabrina, what is the process like for you when they kind of give you, you know, like the gray box? When they say, like, this is the map that we have. What is, like, the first couple steps of figuring out, like, how what the look of this map is going to be?
Yeah, I mean, as a 3D artist, I come in a little bit later, but we do have fantastic concept artists. We start out super early during a blue sky phase, which means the sky's the limit. They can do whatever they want, try the most insane, crazy things, and we do not want to limit them on their creativity. Then we hone it in a little bit, try to figure out, okay, what does this look like? They actually take the map into consideration, trying to fit all their ideas into there. And then
the rope lurk
come in. Yep.
It might pay off. Oh, there's guys out, but there's but now he's got to get out. Might need some assistance to get out of this position.
He's got the teammate holding him there. I can see the panic in the movement.
This is incredible.
I mean, this is exactly what we wanted to see out of this show match.
Right. It could maybe just, you know, blast pack, jump off backwards.
Got his ult as well.
Get out of it a couple different ways.
He was smoke here by Mixwell.
Again, it's really hard to sneak by in mid. You've got to commit.
And that smoke covers all the way into the vent too, so that's really nice to bail your team out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned that like dome smoke is not too strong on B side, but mid gives you incredible power. Limiting that information, getting the early info on mid is so important. So sending that dart into back of mid or a fade eye can make all the difference for your team.
Have there been any Harbor enjoyers like trying out some things with like the high tide and stuff like that on this map, trying to?
Actually, our game analysis team enjoyed using Harbor a lot because his wave actually covers that B main choke, which the smoke does not cover.
Shut down. China trying to fight this one back.
And fun fact, that bridge right there is pennable, so you're able to shoot right into heaven.
Okay, yeah. Here's a big question that I have a concern about.
All right.
Not really, but
I know where this is going.
How valuable do you think the Odin's going to be on this map compared to something like
scared
Lotus, you know, Ascent?
Hopefully it's nothing like Lotus, only because I feel like Lotus has a lot of those close quarters fights, like people are right behind that wall that you're spamming. Here we're getting those really long range fights, so we're anticipating more Operator, maybe the Guardian even. Yeah.
Building up in popularity. Okay,
but can't say for sure until the players get their hands on it.
Again, we keep saying like
I
cannot wait for players to get the map and see how they surprise us. I was here 2 days ago, and yeah, Lotus plus Odin, that was pretty serious.
That was rough to watch for sure.
Well, long range meta, I quite like that. So
I'm a big fan personally. Breeze used to be my favorite map. I was like a Reyna main, so I was all about those aim duels. So mid is a haven for me.
You told me you were a Chamber main. Was Reyna the first love, and then Chamber was the other one?
As they nerf my agents, I move on. You know what I mean? Then I became an Astra main, and then they took my star away.
I'm loving this. I'm a Neon main, so I love the Neon action on the show match.
Well, speaking of the Neon, it's like China, they're going to bring this back, just maybe one round separating.
This angle is so powerful.
It's not quite connecting the spray. Vandal moment.
Thanks, Wings.
And then most of the boxes on both bomb sites are pennable. So that should bring some interesting gameplay.
Are there any other walls to look out, maybe around mid or anything like that that might be pennable that players should consider?
Not that we know of.
Not that you know of.
Usually our players discover those ones.
Yeah.
I will
We
say,
try our best.
yeah, if we have this time after the match, I would love to show you some really cool one-ways that our lead designer,
yes,
Jerry
please.
Seamer, showed us.
Yes. I'd love that.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, if you want a little pro tip, that jump up that you do, if you actually smoke that off, that really affects the attackers. Like, jumping across without seeing where you're going, absolutely terrifying. So smoking that for post plan is a really good way to counter that like uncomfortable situation.
Yeah, that seems like something especially like really early on or just very much like in ranked to take advantage of in the early days, because you know we expect like the pros, you're going to be able to get down this like really good just like methodical rhythm, knowing where you're going. You know, look at some players, they could probably navigate a map blindfolded because they've just played it so many times. But in ranked, very different story. So that's a really good tip, I think.
What about for Clove, if they go off the map, can you still use their smokes?
You cannot.
Oh, you
yeah.
can use the smoke.
Oh, you can use.
You can use the smokes, but the ult does not work.
No,
correct?
not the ult.
I was gonna say this map would just be a major nerf to them if that were the case.
Yeah, and same thing for Sage too. Like you can res a body that's out of the gameplay space.
Right.
Right.
Oh, I think we just saw Dizzy fall down into the
This
pit.
is a really good little camp corner. Rarely cleared. The box is actually, that box as well is pennable, so you could clear that by penning through it as you're executing, which I highly recommend.
Well, they don't get overly punished by it. This looks like this is going to be going to the distance here.
Yeah, against the eco.
11-11.
Hard.
Satchel out.
Wide angle.
Oh boy. Yeah, the jiggle peeking here on the corner is not
People
working out super great.
The outlaw on this map as well.
Yeah, I mean, seems like you're talking about long range, you're talking about sniping, and if you can really get that snowball and force your opponents onto ecos, onto half armors, it feels like the outlaw very much could thrive. But one of the other things that I'm curious to see is going to be, how quickly can you get on top of the outlaw to try to punish it? Because it is just that two-shot weapon, and if they're going to be posted up in mid, there's a lot of routing options.
That's true. And honestly, with the long-range areas that you do typically fight with those weapons are easily dome smoked. So it's not going to be like the op is overpowered or anything like that. There is a good counter.
All right, let's see this hit.
Double stack. They're taking their time, but spotted. Obviously, some of the boxes you're talking about is noted, but now way is cleared. Another run it back to try to open up the site even more. It's flashed up. This is looking like this is going to end up going Team China's way. 5 players alive.
They trade so well.
Spike planted.
The comms, home team advantage.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Fair point. See if they can do anything to try to run this back. But money-wise, not looking great here for International. And so often we see the lurkers in those positions, get anticipated and not be able to hold their ground, but
Match point.
Red King able to make it happen. So now match point. See
Yeah,
if we get any other new little unique features here in this potentially last round.
Yeah, even though you're able to lurk a little bit on this map, like you distract everyone on site, you have that one guy going mid. Defenders still have multiple positions like this where they can hold you and kind of be prepared for that.
One thing I want to ask about, since we don't have any of these agents in here, are like the traditional Sentinels, like Cypher, like Killjoy. How have they played on this map? How have people found them?
So far, I think there's been a bit of a bias towards Cypher, only because, you have global utility. Placing those trips helps you really keep track of those lurkers, which can be incredibly punishing. Killjoy is pretty fun as well, but from what I've heard, Deadlock is incredibly strong on this one, actually.
Really?
Oh.
Yes, that wall can hold down a lot of space.
But yeah, +1 to Cypher though too, especially if you're worried about Neon on the other team. Like having those trips in key locations can, no pun intended, really trip her up.
Oh yeah, of course. If it's near a jump and you're trying to get over there,
And like I mentioned, getting that early information in mid, we've actually been seeing a lot of people jumping that Cypher cam to try and see what's going on in there.
Makes sense.
Are there Cypher?
Real close here.
Off to acid another time, but Team China in front of the home crowd, able to pick up the victory here over Team International. But what an incredibly fascinating map. I think we got to see a decent little bit of some of these things that you guys were talking to us about. But I think that there's also still way more to be explored here.
Absolutely. I mean, this went beyond our expectations, honestly.
Yeah, I am super excited that players will finally get to play this map in the next couple days. I remember seeing the prototype of this map, and it was wild. Early iterations trying so many new exciting things. We've really tuned it up, made it look beautiful, and let's see what players think when it comes out.
Yeah, it really feels like it's going to test the players' skill sets in a lot of different ways that really haven't been before. So that's super exciting for me to get to see players and how they're able to adapt and create.
Looking forward to the deep dives. You know, your average Jonases out there of the world
Oh, yeah.
like to go in and just start experimenting with things like lineups, come up with some crazy stuff
And here
all the
we
way
are.
across the map.
Our wonderful teams.
Yeah, I saw that Omen play though early in the match. That was like perfection.
That was so cool.
I'm glad that you guys are hopping on top of those moments, letting us know, because like we said, we'd never seen this before. We didn't know what to expect. So thank you guys for holding our hands through this matchup.
Oh my goodness, it's
and
our
pointing out
pleasure.
all the great moments. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on the desk to be able to pick your brains this whole way. But now that they've seen the cinematic, they've seen the map, I'll ask you once more, starting with you, Sabrina, how do you feel? It's out there, your baby's out there in the world.
I am elated. I'm so excited and happy. I mean, like I said, this match was way better than I could have ever imagined. We saw so many different plays. We saw all of the skill jumps. We saw people fall. We saw Wingman plant. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better matchup, so I'm really happy about this and excited for the players to get to experience this as well.
Yeah, +1 to that too. Again, it's a super innovative, super new, fresh type of map. And honestly, it's perfect timing too. Like, this is part of the initial pool on console. So like all of the new players for Valorant and all of our existing players will get to take a crack at it in the next few days.
It's incredible. I mean, you guys have done a great job with it. It looks amazing. The game was fun as heck to watch, so I can't wait to see more of this. I can't wait for the pros to get their hands on this. That's going to be
interesting.
really interesting to see what they devise.
Excited to see those Purex comms, see what they cook up.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
I feel like this kind of map is perfect for them.
I agree.
I was trying not to go too heavy into some of the teams that have,
Apologies.
didn't
No,
make
just
it
be
or
biased.
got eliminated. But yeah, PaperX, DRX, I've been so excited to see how those teams are going to be playing on this because it does look like the execution is going to be fantastic. Let's go ahead and send it down to the stage for our Verizon post-match interview.
That was our Abyss show match, and we are now on stage with our two IGLs. We have Danking and we have Mixwell. And of course, we have Luna here to help with some translation as well. Danking, can we ask you, what are your first impressions of Abyss?
我们首先肯定想先请问一下，Danking，你对于这张地图的初印象、第一印象是什么呢？
这张图让我想起了我曾经吧，因为它可以跳下去。
It kind of make me remind the the me in the past because you can jump and you could be fell down.
And Mixwell, what about you? What do you think fans will enjoy the most about this map?
那想问一下 Mixwell， 觉得大家会对于这张地图最喜欢、最享受的一部分是什么呢？
I think people will have a lot of fun because you will see your friends dying, jumping off the cliff, so you will laugh all the time, and people will have to practice movement.
我觉得非常有趣的一点呢，是你可能会看着你的队友掉下去，这种非常有趣的场景，我觉得大家可能绝对要为了这一个新的这样的一种创新来练一下自己的操作了。
So I want to get both of your opinions on what agents you think will be the best for this map. We'll start with you, Danking.
觉得最适配这张地图的英雄是谁呢？
我觉得杰特吧，因为我玩杰特玩比较多嘛，然后我感觉杰特这英雄在所有地图里面都是百搭的。
I think it will be Jet because kind of like it's suitable for every map.
What about you, Maxwell?
I think Jet as well. I think Omen is really good because you can one-way a lot of places and you can do the jump TP like I did in the game. And I also think that you need maybe Harbor or Viper because the bomb sites are really wide and one smoke doesn't cover everything, so you might have to use one of those.
首先我觉得可能会是杰峰，那其次我觉得幽门它的 TP 也非常的适用，然后我觉得可能海神和蝰蛇他们的烟也可以达到非常好的效果。
And finally, we have our grand finals coming up. So I just want to know which team you think is taking home that trophy. Is it going to be Genji or Team Heretics? Danking, we'll start with you.
那对于我们的总决赛，你觉得 GNG 和 TH 谁将获得我们的冠军呢
TH。
TH, the Team Heretics.
And Mixwell?
Of course, Team Heretics. Let's go, Wood! Let's go!
Team Heretics, 冲吧 Wood!
Mixwell, Danking, thank you so much for your time. Seriously, that was our Abyss show match. And we are off to a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be the grand finals of Master Shanghai Genji versus Team Heretics. You don't want to miss this.
Thank you.